No, he's on the phone.
No. Tell the story now.
So, and naturally, all the jobs you have to go for an interview. So he told me, says that.
Who told you though? He was a
the
friend.
fellow I worked with, black fella. He had college education, the whole 9 yards. So he said, white people think black people can't think. So to eliminate that, what you do is whenever they ask you a question, you count to 10 before you answer it. And that means that, you're thinking.
That's a long time.
That means you're thinking. So I went on the interview, and the first thing they asked me was my name. So I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Willard Cooper. What's your address? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I didn't get the job.
Needless to say, he didn't get the job. He's like, he don't know his name. He's a slow thinker. I'm not hiring this guy.
You didn't say 1001, 1002?
No, I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No,
I
didn't count out loud now. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I did count on my breath.
But that's really a long time.
I know, but I think a couple of times I missed 7 because I was nervous. I went from 6 to 8.
Yeah, because that's a long time before answering your name.
Yeah. But it made sense, to a certain degree because, blacks were, we were a stereotype, man. We couldn't
Especially
think.
the 50s.
Yeah, couldn't think, couldn't do this and do this or that.
Black cat.
Oh, he walks across every day about this time.
Really?
He went across.
Thank God you're not superstitious, huh? You're not superstitious, right, Pop?
Well, no, when you go on the left, it don't work. It has to be on the right side.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough time, the 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's major racism in the 50s.
Yeah.
But you navigated through it.
Yeah. So I had a job. I always had good jobs because the people that migrated from, I told Lydia before, migrated from Texas and Arkansas, Louisiana, blacks, very, very few of them even had high school educations. In fact, one of the guys in the club now is a doctor, and he was from Mississippi, and they only went to 10th grade, years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so I had to jump on them because I finished high school,
And you graduated in
44.
But you graduated where? In California?
No.
Or
no.
In Pennsylvania or?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, and then.
That was my graduation from college. You went to school in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, because Pennsylvania, the schools in Pittsburgh were better than, I think, California.
Yeah, so I always had went to the top of the line, and of course I was a rogue. Still, I was the boss on the job, one job, and I think I had about 20 people working under me.
Really, where?
This was in California.
What kind of job, though?
It was a black job in the cotton compress. It was nothing but black people working there.
Right.
But it was a good job, but it was just a seasonal job.
Right.
After they got the cotton and picked the cotton, and we compressed it into bales, 200-300-pound bales. And so I worked on this job, and like I said, I had about 22 people working under me. And if you didn't show up one particular day, I would still write your name down. And then when you got paid, we split the money.
What do you mean?
In other words, I carried the payroll and everything because I was the foreman,
Right.
and I'd write the people's names down who
Even
worked
though
that
they didn't
day,
show up.
and they didn't show up, right?
But how would you pay them if they didn't,
Well, I would turn the slip in
that they worked?
that they worked.
Or how, wasn't it by a certain number of bells that you,
Oh no!
it was just hours then?
Oh, this was a union job, so
Oh, so yeah, it was just hours.
yeah. Oh yeah, it
Wasn't based on your productivity. It was just basic. So they wouldn't show up.
It was a
and
warehouse job.
And you would sign that they did work.
Yeah.
And then you would get what?
I would turn their names in naturally each day, and then we got paid every week. So when the weekend came, if you worked 3 days, naturally
you got paid for 5.
You got paid for 5.
So you had an agreement with them then.
Yeah.
That they would give you half of what they made on those 2 days they didn't show up.
Right. Well, I didn't have to agree with no doggone with the company.
No, I mean, I'm just wondering that the yuckles agreed to that, so it would be to their advantage some days when they thought, well, okay, I don't really want to work today. I got Mr. Cooper, he's my boss.
Well,
I'll at least get half.
No, well, they didn't think that far. So I did that. Then I had another job. I was the dispatcher for a job. In fact, if I'd stayed on that job, there's no question how far I could have gone. But I was 21, 22 years old, and they gave me the job as I'd work at night from 6 to 9, something like that, 3 or 4 hours. It was part-time. And what would I do is that the longshoreman would call our union hall and say, well, look, we need 2 people, 3 people, 5 people to go to Long Beach or to go San Pedro to work on the ship. So I would take the call, and I would dispatch the guys out to these different jobs. So this one particular day, they needed 5 people, and it was only 4 people there. So I dispatched the 4 jobs out, and it's 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I closed the place down, and I took the 5th job. and then and maybe 15 or 20 minutes later, 2 or 3 people came down to the hall looking for a job, and the place was closed. And they wrote me up, and I had to get up before the people. I made a good speech, too.
And you explained to them why?
Try to explain, and they fired me. In fact, they changed the locks on the door. I had that job. Well,
so you just went down and just took the 5th job.
I took the 5th job. Yeah, it was a good job. Shit, they were paying. That was an excellent job then. I mean, as far as money was concerned.
Right.
Oh, it was paying, I don't know, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 an hour.
Back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's an incredible job.
Yeah.
In fact, some people make it $6 an hour now.
Right.
Yeah. It was, and you worked 6 or 8 hours, and the last 2 hours was 2 hours was overtime, and you worked in groups with 6 people. Well, 6 people let's see. Yeah, six people if you're loading a ship, and 8 people in the gang if you're unloading.
Right.
So, but only 2 people or 4 people can work at one time.
Right.
So as a result, we'd work an hour on and an hour off. Or sometimes 2 hours on and 2 hours off. Or sometimes we'd work 4 hours and the guys would leave.
And you get 2 hours.
And get paid for the whole day.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a good job.
And you had it for how long?
Well, I had that job for maybe 3, 4, 5 years.
But you were a dispatcher the whole time?
No, I was only the dispatcher for about a month. But see, I worked. There was 2 union halls. The one union hall handled the jobs, and our union was the jobs that were in excess, where somebody called in sick or something like that, then they would need 1 or 2 people to go to these different places on the ship.
Right.
And,
Must have been hard work to pay you that much, though.
No, the work was easy.
It was just
It
it
was
was just union.
Yeah. In fact, they said that union was a communist union because it paid more. It paid more than any. Of course, you got places like Baltimore, with the harbor, and you got 90,000 places where ships come into the cities and unload. Of course, now they use the big containers. You see these big containers?
Right.
Well, years ago they didn't use containers. They would just
unload, load and unload.
Load and unload. You put it on pallet boards.
So
we
labor.
We used to unload rubber. And you know how rubber would come in. It's about maybe on the table about this high and about this wide. Can you figure a big piece of rubber like that? And naturally the rubber ain't flat or nothing. So you put 3 or 4 of them on the pallet board, and when you take it up, one may roll off. And you couldn't imagine, you get a ball, for example, and you drop a ball down, and it's up to bounce anywhere. And so that was dangerous. So, but it was a good job. That was the best job that I had. But they wouldn't hire black people
To do that. Yeah, of course, not those jobs because of the money.
The permanent jobs. We would do the excess jobs. We could get the jobs on Monday and Tuesday. See, the banana boat came in every Monday, and you could get that job. And so you worked 6 or 8 hours. They only paid you for what you actually worked. And any job came in, I'd take it. That's how I learned how to drive a forklift. And carpenter's job coming in, I couldn't even nail a nail. And I'd take a carpenter's job because it was a job for 8 hours, So it worked out pretty good. And
you weren't married then?
No. But it was, well, I got married and, as the time went on, yeah. And but see what happened, they put the black people in the trick and draw, as far as Social Security. I probably told Lydia this when she was here. You'd have to wait 1 or 2 weeks to draw your Social Security. Your unemployment. Okay, you follow me?
Right.
And at that time, I'll just say it's $80 a week that they would pay you. But the thing about it, they would ask you if you worked any time this week. If you said you worked,
They wouldn't pay you.
well, see, I hate people who
try
to answer my doggone questions. You don't know what I'm gonna say. But anyway, you'd go up to the counter, and the lady said, "Well, did you work?" If you worked one day and made $40, all you would get would be $40 because they would deduct the $80.
Right.
So naturally, after you got a family, after a week or so, when you went, and if you worked one or two days, and the lady asked you if you worked, no, I ain't working. You got the $80. You understand? So that's what happened. But
so you did that?
Yeah, shoot. In fact, about 30 or 40 of us done it. So after that, they caught up with us.
I was wondering if they did that.
And they put us all in jail. So I stayed.
They didn't go in jail.
I stayed in jail.
No, they put you in jail?
I was in jail. I was in jail for.
No way. For that?
Yeah.
Only the yuckles?
Yeah, it was only the yuckles. Yeah. Some they put in jail. Some they fined. Because in other words, it may have 8 or 10 guys that go to court this week, and maybe 8 or 10 guys will go to court next week, and probably be a different judge. So I had to go for 5 days, So I stayed in jail 5 days. But I don't remember. I don't even remember going to jail and don't remember staying in jail.
How do you know you went for 5 days?
I know it was 5 days.
But you don't remember what happened when you were there.
When I was there, yeah.
And did you keep the job though? Did you lose a job?
Well, no, I kept the job.
So they didn't fire you.
Well, see, the jobs were temporary anyway.